What is going on, y'all? My name is Chris, and this is Ending the Stigma. Thank y'all so much for joining me tonight. My guests tonight are two really badass people that I've just absolutely fallen in love with, traveling back and forth to Memphis. They're a husband and wife, Cody and Kasey Ables. Cody is part of the Smoke Meat, Not Meth, the Second Chance Smokers with Brad Bell, who was supposed to be on last week, and I had technical difficulties. And Kasey is his wife, and I've heard some of Kasey's story and some of Cody's story. So I thought, what better way to have, or what better way to hear it than both of them together, because they do kind of intertwine. Um, Also, my chat is not populating. That's irritating because I've got comments coming in on LinkedIn, but they're not populating in the chat. So y'all hold on. I'm going to disappear for just a minute, and I'll be right back. All right, let's see if that is going to do anything. There they are. All right, gotta love technology, man. So let's see. We have David Causes in the comments. What's going on, David? Ben Owen in the flesh. What's going on, brother? Glad you're here. Claudia Kinley Woods is here. My sister Kara is here. Kenny D's here too, but his comment didn't populate for some reason. That's weird. Anyway, all right. So without talking anymore, I'm going to bring out Cody and Kasey. What's up, Gunny? Good to see you, man. Hi, y'all.
Hey.
Hey, Matt Wallace and all the Rebos got.
Oh,
That's
gosh.
whoop, whoop.
What's
That's
up,
what I'm
guys?
talking about. Chris Bobbitt is in the house too, man. That's what's going on.
Bobbitt, get that body bag.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Jess.
Love
Thanks
you,
for dropping
Jess.
in. Yep. So thank y'all for being here.
Nervous, excited.
You nervous? I know Casey's been in the back. We've been backstage. She's been having a small
You've
come apart
having a
back
whole
there. but-
breakdown over here.
She's sweating and everything else.
Literally.
There's your mom somewhere right there.
Oh, hey, Mom.
Yeah. Sheila Smith. Hey, Sheila. Man, everybody's showing up tonight. For real.
Aw.
And I think that's where, like, I think that's how I kind of got connected with y'all was when you started doing like some gangland posts and all that kind of stuff. And then, yeah, I think that's where I first saw y'all pop up because somehow I missed y'all our first two trips to Memphis or first trip. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think one of the events we didn't, I think it was the last Christmas event we didn't attend.
Well, I wasn't
Or no,
around last Christmas, so it's only been since July. So
okay, then that's why we didn't go to that first
So
walk party.
that is when I met Ben through Brad. Was at the 2
Christmas.
years ago at the Christmas event.
okay, okay,
We had talked a little bit, but Ben is always 7 different places at once, so it's like squirrel
yeah,
and he was gone. So, but
Literally.
yeah,
and then a year later, here we are. You know what I'm saying? And we're like deep in this thing, and I couldn't be more
yeah.
blessed with that. So.
You know, I rub this in his face all the time, but he blew me off for almost a year. Me trying to get him on the podcast,
That sounds
like wouldn't straight up left me on red, bro. Like straight up. And then he showed up on a friend of mine's live stream, and I was like, I don't care how you do it, but you need to tell him that he needs to come on mine. And he did. He finally did because of that. And that's the whole reason I got on Facebook because they were like, he's a lot more active on Facebook. Get on Facebook and get his attention. That's the whole reason I got on Facebook. Hey, Maria, we were just talking about you. Good to see you. My mom and dad are here. Yvette's here. I met Yvette at the Christmas thing.
Yep, she's awesome.
You had them fire cheesecake bites.
Listen,
say, bro, you know,
on Facebook so that we could order because she ships.
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he's like, I need those.
right.
Mom, they wasn't better than yours, I promise. Mom, they wasn't better than yours.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. Then Casey's doing something that nobody else can if she can keep you pointed in the right directions at all times.
So,
Boy.
You know, so Ben gave me a title called the Chaos Coordinator, and I mean,
Yeah.
it's nothing short.
Right. And
Like,
and it's him. He's chaos.
yeah, yeah. CEO Chaos.
Yeah. So let's dig into it, man. Like, I don't know where y'all want to start. If y'all want to start with Cody, if you want to start with Casey.
You know where she's point, big dog.
Yeah,
No,
she's
I
gonna
mean,
point at Cody.
we can.
Yeah.
Our story has always like kind of overlapped in like situationally, and then we've known each other for
20-something years.
yeah. So I
Oh
was
wow.
8,
She
and
been
he was.
chasing me my whole life, dog.
Listen, I was 8 years old, and he was like 10. We were at East End Skating Ring, jam skating. He had on, you know, the baby blue FUBU sweatsuit with his
Oh
light
no.
like glow in the dark grill in his mouth. Cool
Yeah.
as all
You
get
were that
out.
kid.
Well, him and my at the time stepbrother were friends, and I told my stepbrother, I was like, I'm gonna be with your friend. I'm gonna get your
At
friend
8 years old.
at 8 years old. And he was like, and here we are.
Here you are. Yeah. A few years later.
Yeah.
Hey, Tiffany.
What up?
So
So I guess I'll go ahead and jump in, man.
yeah, go ahead and start. Look at her. She's over there. Thank you, God.
I'll go ahead. So, man, I guess I grew up. My dad left. I was 2 years old. All right. So he told my mom these exact words: "I'll be back when I can take him to the bar." And now he definitely lived up to that. I was raised in a home where I had to be excused from the table. You know, my mom was mom and dad, and she didn't play
Yeah.
games. Like she
Yeah.
always said, I won't be your friend until you're grown. So
Yeah.
so all my decisions that I've made were solely on my own because I was raised. My mom's got 30 some years of sobriety. Like my mom, like I was all around AA growing up, and
Yeah.
you know I honestly should have got it. I should have understood the dangers of the things that I was fixing to become. But um, man, we went to church. My mom would bring us to church. Was really raised right, and then
Yeah.
12 years old, I started stealing my sister's cigarettes and would smoke her weed and crap like that. You know what I'm saying? And then here
Mm-hmm.
comes my dad. He come back around. I was like 13 years old. And so he wanted to be the cool guy, you know what I'm saying? So he buy me beer,
Mm-hmm.
I be drinking, whatever. Um, and that was the first person I ever got high with, and I'm not talking about smoking weed, you know what I'm saying? Like my
Yeah.
dad was the first person I did mess with. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's real ironic that that could happen because I've got a son and I've got three sons. You know what I'm saying? I've got one that's biologically mine and two that's Casey's, and the
Mm-hmm.
thought of even seeing them smoke a cigarette would just light a fire up under me. Let alone, hey man, you want to do some meth? Like what was my
Right.
dad thinking? He could have taught me
Right.
anything in this world, and you taught me how to follow in your footsteps, which were not the path that I was intended to be on. Because
Yeah.
obviously, look at me now. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm an
Right.
able-bodied man, and I'm doing anything that I can to help anybody. But so it really didn't get unmanageable at that time. You know, it was in and out. Like it wasn't an everyday thing. But I definitely was screwed up. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
I've been in mental institutions from the time I was 9 years old. And shoot, we were digging through files, and I found something from 2005. Like, keep in mind,
Oh
33.
wow.
I'm 33 years old, so I found something a certificate of completion from a intensive inpatient program at 2005. So that would put me at what?
My math ain't math. They don't ask
I mean,
that too late.
I was like in my early teens completing treatment programs. You know what I'm saying? So it really didn't spiral out of control until I was 18. I had my own house. Man, I was doing probably 8 ball of cocaine a day. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just insane. Like I would go to work. I would consider myself functioning, you know what I'm saying, but I couldn't pay my bills. You know,
Yeah.
my mom and my stepdad would always send me countless amounts. I couldn't even tell you the dollar amount to keep me going. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
the whole time they're not knowing what's going on because they're living in Virginia.
Right.
So then, I lose that house. man, I'm pretty much full throttle in addiction now. I done went from cocaine to meth, and I fell in love when I did meth. I ain't gonna lie to you. It helped me
Yeah, I
escape.
did too.
It helped me. It helped me lose everything. Everything that I was feeling that I knew was wrong, like flew out the window. Like it engulfed
Yeah.
me in a way that I can't even explain to this day. And it had a hold on me for a good 10 years. Like legit, was the worst thing that ever happened to me. So my son's mom got caught a whole bunch of charges and all of this crap that led me to where I'm at. So I went to jail on all that crap. So then I get out and I still get high
Yeah.
because I always get out and I stay sober for 2 or 3 months and I start drinking. Okay, because drink alcohol was never my problem, but the
Hmm.
decisions I made while I was drinking alcohol was the problem. Like
Yeah.
like that switch just gets flipped and I'm gone. So
Yeah.
then I'm about 21, 22 years old, and like I'm just a lost cause. Like I'm a basket case. Like if any of y'all would have met me when I was high, we'd never got along. I was a dick. I had no respect for women. I had no respect for anybody, especially myself. I was pretty much a self-centered little prick and would get off on
Yeah.
anybody I could get off on. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't
Yeah.
trustworthy. I wasn't just anything to be around. And at that time, I wasn't a felon, so I always had a pistol on me. I got pulled
Hmm.
over. I got pulled over. I had ran from the police the night before, right there in the Poplar and Avalon area. I ran from the police the night before and got away, and I'm up on the apartment balcony on Court on the street. It's in Memphis called Court
Hmm.
Avenue. I was up on the balcony looking at the police as they rode by, like, haha, what are y'all gonna do? You know what I'm saying? And they on the route from Belvedere to Court, and man, dude, they swarmed me. 8 different cops at the corner of Poplar and Avalon, and I had a pistol on me. I had probably 8 needles. Like I was a junkie at the time. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that was horrible. Like the feds wound up picking that case up. I got bailed out 2 days later, and I was supposed to go to court that same morning that I got out, and I skipped bail. And I called the bondsman and was like, "Look, man, we got to figure it out. I didn't go to court this morning, but we got to figure it out." It was A+ bonding or something. I believe his name was Keith. I mean,
It's
everybody
Keith.
everybody used
I
this
still
guy.
got his number in my
And
phone.
he was like, "What are you talking about, dog? What are you talking about, dog? They dropped your charges." And immediately when they said they dropped my gun charge, I knew what time it was,
Mhm.
and it was 8 months later. The feds indicted me. I got pulled over, and they was like, "Hey, you got a U.S. Marshals hold." And I'm about lost it. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking U.S. Jesus Christ, I'm thinking I'm like
Who'd
backtracking
I
because
kill?
I done did all kind of stupid stuff. So I'm backtracking. It's not clicking in my head yet that it's this gun charge. So I
Yeah.
wound up going to federal prison. They give me like 36 months. Um, and that was the worst. It was really like a college campus because I was still getting high. You know what I'm saying? Like my addiction was
Yeah.
to follow me in there. So I never really did that time. I got out. And that's around the time that me and Casey started talking. Um, yep, that's how it happened. Hey, bad guys. Um,
Unfortunately, yeah.
um, and we started talking, and unfortunately, that wasn't where my second chance started. You know what I'm saying? Like I had a good run. I probably stayed sober for like 6 months, if that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Sober.
well, I was drinking. I was drinking
Yeah.
and smoking weed, so I
Yeah.
wasn't sober. In my mind, I was sober because I was not on meth. You know what I'm saying? That was
Right.
my
Right.
problem. That was my dope. Like that was what did it for me. So I was sober. Um, and then I went back out, man. I started, and this last time that I went back out was the worst time. Like I couldn't tell you how many times I sit on the edge of the bed finna blow my brains out. Like legit, like I can't take this no more. This isn't who I am. I've been involved
Yeah.
this woman in my life now, and Casey's never done dope a day in her life. She
Hmm.
struggled watching her dad go through that her whole life. You know what I'm saying? And she was the complete opposite of me because in the direction that her dad was going, she turned the other way. I went full speed with my dad. So we
Hmm.
went got two totally different people, and she saw the good in me, and I couldn't even love myself, let alone love her the right way. So
Right.
You know, I really took advantage of her. I drug her through the mud. There was multiple occasions. I'm not gonna speak on every situation that occurred, but it's just no woman deserves to be treated that way, especially when she has a pure heart and loves to, like, there's not another person that can love like she does in my eyes besides my mom. Um, so I go
Look
back
who
out.
showed up.
Oh,
Big
Brad Bell,
dog,
big dog.
big underwear. uh, uh, and you know, I went back out, and I was still on federal supervised release. I had that. It's crazy. I was literally fixing to. There was a chance that I was fixing to get custody of my son at the time. Um, the feds were fixing to let me off on early from supervised release, because if you complete 18 months and do what you're supposed to do, you can file a petition through the courts and they release you. Okay, so keep all this in mind, and literally like the next month, the PO is at my sister's house. I'm pissing in a cup, and I burnt the bottom of the cup. Like I ain't even lied to him. Like I said, man, there's no reason for you to give me that cup. I'll tell you right now, I'm shot off. You probably gonna find everything that it's gonna be like a lotto. You know what I'm saying? Like you just hit every number.
Yeah.
Christ.
I mean, I'm just being honest with you, and he still made me do it for records, and then I had the federal warrant because they revoked my supervised release. So now I'm running, and man, running and meth is stressful. Okay,
Ooh,
like
boy. I already know.
I was already borderline paranoid schizophrenic. You know what I'm saying? I was diagnosed. I was 12 years old with bipolar 3 disorder. Like I'm really mentally unstable as it is. You know what I'm saying? Then you add meth in the mix, and it's just volatile. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
man.
Like
A
Yeah.
ticking time bomb. Just
literally, we're at a red light, and we're at a red light at Poplar and Highland, and dude cut me off and said something. Like I saw him say something. I literally threw the car and parked, jumped out the window. His girl probably left him that same day because I tried to knock his window out and tried to get out the car. He wouldn't do nothing. He sat there, looked like he was gonna piss himself. But that's the type of person I was. You know what I'm saying? Like I had really lost myself. Like I didn't care. Like there was times the dude pulled a gun on me, and literally like he's got this revolver 357 pointed dead at my face, and he's like this. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh. Whoa,
Yeah.
you gonna take the bullets out the gun, man? What you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? That's where I was. He was like, you don't want to die, and I was like, man, try me. Come on, man, because I can't do
Yeah.
it myself. You know what I'm saying?
Bronson said, "Please
Yeah.
don't die,
He's like,
Cody."
he's like, I can't do it myself. All right, man, you want to get down, bro? You want your little 15 minutes? You want your little 15 minutes?
He needs
All
his
right, man.
15. Get down. Get. Charles, get.
But
Charles Bronson, go.
you know the end. So now I'm running, and you know I'm paranoid, so I always keep a gun on me. And you know, I've already been to the feds for a gun once, so if I got caught with another gun, it's 15 years mandatory minimum.
Hmm.
Um,
Wow.
you know, and so I would get high, I would buy a gun, I would come down, I'd realize, oh my God, you're an idiot. Sell the gun. It was like Pete and repeat. I had 9 days, and it's just like, so I'm running, and then I'm gonna start getting into what God has done for me, because I really like to hit my key focal points in my story. I like to talk about the bad. I like to let people know where I came from. But
Yeah, you have to.
I'm really at that point in my life now where I can really show you what God has done and what God can do for you, because that's what did it for me. You know, no knock to AA or nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like that's put in place for people
Yeah.
that need that, and I needed something like that, but it was the church that did it for me, and
Hmm.
so. And it says in their 12 steps, you know, find your higher power or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I've done. I've reached out to Brad Bell, and, you know, me and Brad used to get high together. And,
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
yeah, me and Brad used to run the streets together. I mean, we really didn't, you don't really hang out when you're doing meth. So I can't say that we was around each other like we are now. You know what I'm saying? It was
Right.
like, where'd you come from?
They
You know
weren't
what I'm saying?
smoking meat.
And, you know, I reached out to him, and, you know, I told him, I said, man, I'm done. I can't do this no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, he sent me the screenshots the other day, and I'm just like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just blows my mind. And we really had our last fight that day, because I had supposed to have been sober for like
Mike Tyson fight.
yeah, like it's
It's
bad. Like,
Mike Tyson and Jake Paul.
who got a mean one? I tell you that. Um, I was supposed to have been sober for like a week. I had been lying to her face
Mhm.
in the house. I was in the bathroom on the toilet. I wasn't using the bathroom. I was smoking. I was hitting the pipe, and
Yeah.
I hit the floor. And if anybody's ever dropped a buddy before, you know it's a very distinct ding, ding, ding on the
It's very
spout.
distinct.
And then I went in the couch and fell asleep. That's how crazy. That's how much meth I was doing. I could smoke and go to sleep type stuff. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And I woke up and my buddy was sitting on the couch with a note wrapped around it that said, "You'll never change." And I hadn't even noticed that yet. I got up, I went back to the room where she was at, and the door was locked. So I'm like, "What the hell?" You know what I'm saying? And she's not opening the door, so now I'm freaking out. Like, what's wrong with her? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I bust through the door, and that's when all hell broke loose. And that's when I saw the buddy in the front with the note on it, and she pretty much slapped me with my Bible and kicked me out the house. Legit slapped me with the Bible, kicked me out the house. I fell asleep on the front porch reading the Bible.
Yeah, our
Uh,
neighbor was texting me. He's like, "Is Cody dead up on the front porch? Why you leave that man outside like that?" And I was like, "I don't know who that man is."
um,
I
he
don't know
finally let me
him.
back in the house. I wrote it. I go get the journal right now and read it. I literally got an 8-page prayer. I poured my heart out to God. I told him, I said, "Man, this isn't me. This isn't who you intended me to be. This isn't nothing, you know what I'm saying? Like take this away from me. You know what I'm saying? Like help
Yeah.
me be the man that Casey needs me to be." We wasn't married at the time. So it was help me be the man that Casey needs to be, you know what I'm saying? She's sacrificed everything,
Mhm.
just to be
Yeah.
with me and tried to get me to live the right way. Uh man, and I haven't touched dope since. That's almost in April it'll be 4 years. So when I say God will do it, God will do it. Like
God will do it.
it's one of them deals. So keep in mind, I still got my federal warrant. They wind up coming getting me 30 days after that day. 30 days. Okay. So when the marshals come, we're in the bedroom, and my dogs are in the backyard, and I hear them freaking going psycho. Like I've never heard neither one. We only had two at the time. I never heard my dogs sound like this a day in my life. And I looked dead at Casey and I said, "They're here. They're here." And she told me she thought I'd started getting high again.
I
She
asked
was
him, I
like,
was like, "Are you sure you're not on hitting the pipe again? Like, do you need to leave and never come back?" And he was like, "No, they're here." And we hear U.S. Marshals. I was like, "Oh, you right."
so I pushed
Mm.
her. I pushed her to the front of the house so she would open the door. And I'm in the hallway in my drawers, man, and they come in, and as soon as I hit the entry to my living room, you see the riot shield, you see the dude up, bro. There's 20 marshals in my house, like literally. When I'm not lying to you, they had 8 cars in the front, 8 at the gas station behind, and 8 more on the street. I never felt so wanted in my life.
Yeah.
Folks, that was wild. And the crazy thing, the thing the guy said to me, what struck me is this was God doing this, because he said we were supposed to come get you 30 days ago. And my whole
Mm.
body, I kept a gun on me 30 days ago. I was gonna shoot at you to get away. To be honest with you, you already gonna give me that much time. I might as well add 10 to it with the chance of getting away. Like that was my mindset. And I was
Hmm.
like, and, like Garland would say, "Look at God,
Right.
God,
Won't he do it?
Won't
so
he?
won't he?"
Won't
So,
he do it? Yeah.
so I go to the DeSoto County Jail to wait on the marshals to come back in the morning and get me and take me to the federal building downtown to go to court and then get shipped to Mason. Um, and then some things happened at that time. We're not gonna go into details with everything, but there were some things that was known but wasn't provable at the time until that I got arrested and my phone was left at the house. Like I had literally
Mm.
shattered Casey's heart. Like legit, like it was like we were rebuilding something in those 30 days, and then everything came to light.
Hmm.
So
He knew it too, because the first time he called, he goes, "Oh, I hear it in your voice. You done went through my phone." I was like, "Damn right I did."
so I was a piece of shit.
And
Like
then I got a letter
Yeah.
from juvenile court saying, so and so's baby might be your baby. Yeah.
But so I'm in jail. I get transferred to Mason,
Stop it.
and I'm talking to Casey, and I asked her straight up, "What do you want to do?" You know what I'm saying? Like I'm done. Like I'm done. Like it was already in my head that I was done. I beat this on the street. This wasn't a move me away, get locked up, and oh I'm clean type deal. You know what I'm saying? Like I did that on my
Yeah.
own. So I've never been able to do in my life. I've
Yeah.
always had to be forcibly removed from that situation. Like there was no will in my body to not do drugs until that period of time when I surrendered that
Right.
to.
Well, and
Yeah.
just like Christmas of that same year, or no, it was New Year's, because we were sitting at his sister's table, and this is one of the times he just decided to show up because, it's a holiday, the family's together. Let's see if I can hustle some money out of somebody. His mom, me, his sister's friend Whitney, we're all sitting at the table, and he's like, I'm just gonna go ahead and let you guys know there's no New Year, new me. This is me. If y'all can't accept it and me being a junkie, then kick rocks. Y'all either gonna watch me die and let me be here, or you're gonna hear about me dead on the street. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he's like, this is me. Accept me for me. I'm not changing. I don't plan on changing. And now
And guys,
look.
watch this. So
Look at God. Won't he do it?
so we made the decision to work it out and for her to help me better myself in a sense and to learn things that I was never taught growing up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's only so much that your mom can teach you. Your mom can't teach you how to love a woman. Your mom can't teach you, you know what I'm saying? And she can't teach a rebellious kid anything. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? My mom did
Yeah.
everything that she could. The poor woman, I it breaks my heart like dog. Like it breaks my heart like how I treated my family, my wife,
Yeah.
especially my mom and my wife. You know what I'm saying? Like those were
Yeah.
the two people that are sacred to my heart to this day, and I wear that jumpsuit again for them. You know what I'm saying? Like that. You don't never see that. But I'll get some more into that in a minute. But cause look, I'm ADHD and the squirrel gets me and I run left, so you got to keep me on track. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Yeah.
so we made the decision to work it out. She was gonna stay, and I'm not telling you it was easy. Like we probably read 20 books together through a jail phone. They used to call me lover boy. You know what I'm saying? Like they see me walking to the phone with my book. Like there you go again. Because I always look. I'm burning the phone like it's a cricket in jail. You know what I'm saying? Like we went.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know how much money we spent
Too
on. I ain't gonna
much.
say we. She spent
Too
on the phone
much.
alone.
Yeah.
Man, we read books. She would order her book and order me the same book, and we would read it. You know what I'm saying? I'm reading my Bible faithfully. There's always a verse that sticks with me. I can quote it, but I can't. It's in First Peter's something or Second Peter.
Peters.
It's for you is better to not know the ways of the Lord than to know the ways of the Lord and turn back to your wicked ways.
Yep.
And it struck me because I've always known God. I've never truly followed God up until that time that I had got out of federal prison the first time. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that last run that I had was the worst run that I've ever had, like legit horrible.
Mm-hmm.
So I get to court to get sentenced on my revocation, and Brad Bell came testified on my behalf. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to him because not too many people gonna walk in the federal courtroom and try to fight for you. You know what I'm saying? Because they are
Yeah.
very intimidating, very
Yeah.
intimidating. I was only on a revocation this time, so it wasn't as serious. She could have gave me 36 months because I had 36 months supervised release. So she could have hit me with the book. She wasn't gonna let me go into treatment. She said she felt like that was gonna set me up to fail again because obviously on paper I've proved time and time again that I can't complete nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
we've given you
Yeah.
chance after chance. The state has given you God. I mean, it's like a phone book. You know what I'm saying? So she sentenced me to 9 months, and I had already been sitting in Mason for 5 months. So I literally went to federal prison, processed in, set in quarantine, and was right back in quarantine to go back. So I almost got to the door, and then here comes 201, the state. Oh nope, here you got your revocation here, because I had an 8-count indictment for stolen cars in Memphis, and I had got out on probation the same time that I got out on probation when I was released from federal prison. It just all ran,
Yeah.
but it was two separate entities, but it was pretty much the
Right.
same time frame. Um, so I had to go back to the county jail, which going from prison to county jail sucked. Period. Like
Sucks.
sucks. It's like going from being an adult to going back to daycare. You know what I'm saying? Like it's no worse than that.
I've never had to do that, go backwards. Thank God I didn't, because once I finally got over the nerves of going to prison for the first time, I was like, man, I can't even imagine doing this much time, like going back to county. Like, man, you don't want to do it.
Imagine being just a street junkie and then saying, "Hey, you gotta go
Yeah.
do years in federal prison."
Yeah, right.
So low, you know what I'm saying? Like I had
Yeah.
I had your USP points, which is a United States Penitentiary.
Charles.
But
Stop
I was under 25 at the time, so they put a management variable on it, and they sent me to the medium high, which was the same thing. They're thumping just like this, the
Yeah,
same.
rocking and rolling. Yep.
I seen some crazy. Bro, there's some things that you just see that you don't believe until you see it. It's not like the movies, bro. It's not like
No, it's
not
not.
like you gonna give me a 100 bond. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't nothing like that. But if you're fucked up, you're gonna get. You know what I'm saying? You're not walking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
But so now I'm out. So I get out. I'm on probation in the state. I'm done with the feds. I told Casey probably like a month to 2 months before I got out, look, you got to have a church for me to come home to. I got to have some kind of community. I got to do this different. I can't drink. I can't surround myself with people that I know or don't want the best for me. Like that was always my biggest enemy was alcohol and people that I thought were okay. But in all God's honesty, a couple of them are okay, but I still can't be around them. You know what I'm saying? Just because of the way that they're living. So we get out. I'm going to church. I marry her 3 days after I get out. Legit married, cuffed. We're not going nowhere. It's over with.
Like he's like, you just gonna have to be late for work today.
She stuttered. She said, "I did the do."
I was hesitant then too.
Legit, the man's asking us. You know what I'm saying? Do you take blah blah blah? She said, "I did the do." But
Christ. Never lived that down.
So I'm very heavy in the church. That's what's doing it for me. I serve.
Yeah.
Man, any chance that I got, I served. I was surrounded by men that generally cared for me, that would show me the ropes, that were teaching me things that I was never taught, teaching me how to be a man, teaching me how to go about things in a godly manner. Truly learning how to surrender things to God, which is probably something that I struggle with the most to this day, is truly surrendering a situation to God, because I'm always been a I got it type of person. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got it. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. But in all God's honesty, that'll stress you out more than just giving it to God. Like, give it to God, watch what he can do. Because I had a pastor tell me, my sister, she's just celebrated a year of sobriety. So
Awesome.
during her time in addiction, I got to witness the other side of addiction that you don't see. The hurt, the worry, the stress, and every time that I would feel those emotions, regret would like literally ripple up my whole body, because that's what I was doing to Casey, my mom, my sisters, to everybody. And I was sitting at church in Faith Baptist Bartlett, and the preacher said something to me that hit me like a ton of bricks, because I was on the edge of stop praying, like just stop, like just God knows what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Like he's gonna do it. And he was like, the moment you stop praying for somebody is the moment you start doubting God's ability to answer that prayer. So you don't ever stop praying for somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
What were we talking about before that?
You're talking about your sister.
No, before that.
Getting out of prison.
Oh, church.
Getting out of prison, church, group of men.
Group of men. Yeah, that sounds real dirty.
Jesus Christ. There goes PG-13.
Hey, Ashley Kennedy, good to see you.
Whoop, whoop. Shit.
Yeah, group of men. You need a foundation.
Oh, yeah. So we did that for about 2.5 years. Some unforeseen things happened. I'm not going to go into detail with all of that. We left the church. I wanted to do prison ministry. I was going to get with the guy, Michael Kasey, who used to come minister to me while I was in federal prison. I've actually got to go into a couple prisons with him now. So
nice.
that was pretty cool. Shut up. That was pretty cool. And then me and Brad start linking up and we do the barbecue. I know y'all see them shiny things back there. You know what I'm saying? We start doing stuff like that. So we linked up and we started. He introduced me into smoking the meat, not meth, which was probably like I fell in love all over again. You thought it was meth for me because like cooking has always been my thing. And
Yeah.
then you had a smoker in with that and your best friend. You know what I'm saying? You can't get no better than that.
Yeah, Leah
Yeah.
and I are the other wives.
Yeah, right.
We are. I mean, when him and Brad are together, we don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
So we're doing that.
he's just gonna gloss right over that. He ain't
Yeah,
even
he
gonna
just like
acknowledge
doesn't
that.
even look at the camera anymore. He's like, I can't look at him a lie to the camera.
So then Brad hits me up and was like, "Hey, I'm cooking for these people. I want to know if you want to get in on it." I can't remember what I cooked for the first Christmas. I think I did the hams, or maybe Brad did it. I just brought it with. I think I picked them up from Brad and took. I don't remember, but we were there.
He's talking about the first South Memphis Christmas event because
Help
the
me out,
squirrels
Ben.
got lost somewhere.
Help me out, Ben. So then I meet Ben, and we talk. We talk for about 2 minutes. That's about all you're gonna get out of Ben. It's about lies. That's all you're gonna get out of Ben is about 2 minutes. At least then. Now I could probably get him for 5.
Yeah,
I
right,
think
right.
so.
But and I walked up to him. Told him I really like what y'all are doing. You know what I'm saying? And I think we're gonna get in with y'all, and we're gonna see where it goes. And here we are, about a year and a half later, and me and Brad we're cooking for all the events.
Yeah.
Anytime I'm able to lend my services to them in any kind of way, I'm all
Y'all
for it.
heard that right? In any
All
kind of
for
way.
it. No, I see. Here you go left when I'm going right. It's very humbling, man, because you
Yeah.
see, you see how easy it is to truly do right, but you're always going to be on that line where you could always end up back on that side of the line that everybody else is on. You know what I'm saying? Like we went to Westie's downtown on Christmas. They were doing a big.
Please leave the doorbells
They smoked a
alone.
whole bunch of ribs and like 80 pounds of pork butt to give out to the community. And it's always humbling because I never do not get the feeling of, hey, that was once you in that line. You know what I'm saying? Like that was once
Hmm.
you needing something from somebody, and here we are providing that. So that's very humbling. Very cool to be a part of. And then
Can you give me a minute,
y'all
please?
see this dog.
I'm his emotional support human. He's been ringing the doorbells for me to let him out.
Um, so yeah, man, I'm blessed to be a part of the We Fight Monsters crew. I'm blessed to know them. It's very, very reassuring that once you put your heart into something that you can do it. Because I look up to Ben a lot because Ben
Yeah.
was a basket case. You know what I'm saying? Just like me. And now
Hmm.
look at what he's doing. He's putting boots on the ground in one of the dangerous cities in Memphis and really making some leadway. And that's truly cool to be a part of because
It is.
at one point in time, I couldn't even tie my own shoe, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like that's pretty cool. And I think I'm gonna let my wife talk a little bit because I think I've been going for 40 minutes. So, so yeah, I saved
I
you.
was okay with you like killing it all. I don't even know like genuinely where to start. I guess I'll start at 5. So my story in this whole world of all the things, sorry y'all, I'm his emotional support
No,
human.
you're
I
good.
have to just touch him.
Somebody want
I
a dog?
can't tell you how many live streams I've had that got crashed by a dog or a cat walking back and forth in front of the computer. Like it happens, and I love it.
So at 5 years old, we had a wonderful helicopter land in our backyard in Somerville, Tennessee, where we had run away to for the time being because my mom had married some dude and needed to run away somewhere. And for some god awful reason, the state still thought it was okay for us to go and visit with her. I have a baby sister and I have 2 older sisters. And at the time, the guy that my mom was married to had a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old. So when I was 5 years old, we had a helicopter land in our backyard because my mom had burnt the 3-year-old in scalding hot bath water.
Mm.
He had 3rd-degree burns from the bottom of his shoulder blades on his butt down to his feet. And it wasn't that day that the helicopter landed in our backyard. It was after my mom had called a day later asking how to treat bathtub burns. She had called a CVS pharmacy asking how to treat bathtub burns. And the pharmacist was asking questions, all of the preventative questions that they're supposed to ask, asking as much detail as she could so that she could call emergency services because something wasn't adding up.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the next day because my sister's dad had called the law and said, hey, I need somebody to get out there and do a welfare check on my kid to see what's going on. Something's going on that shouldn't be going on. And we had found out that she, in fact, burned him. She was out of it from being so high on meth and whatever else she could get her hands on. And she thought that she could just nurse him up herself. So we had a helicopter land in our backyard because my stepbrother's burns were so bad and his skin was so untreated that it was literally just peeling off at that point in time.
Yeah.
So they rushed him to Le Bonheur, and then all of us got picked up by, I think it was Jackson, Tennessee Police Department at that time because they couldn't get a hold of my dad. So me and my baby sister, they weren't sure where to take us. They had no point of contact for our next of kin outside of my grandparents. And then my older sisters, their dad came and picked him up because he met the police there. My mom was then arrested, and they finally found my dad. My dad was chasing his next high at the same time too, but was living with my grandmother at the time. So we were in and out of court for maybe 2.5 years for them to sentence my mom. She was sentenced with child abuse, child neglect, and they had told her at the time, and I'll never forget it. They say you don't remember much when you're young, but trauma, I think everybody remembers. I
Yeah.
remember that instance, and then I remember them saying when they sentenced her that she would have served less time if she would have killed him
Mm.
than she will now because he now has to suffer for the rest of his life. She was sentenced to 22 years, but ended up only doing, I think, 12 and a half. But ever since that time, ever since us being in my granddad's, not my granddad's, my dad and my grandmother's custody, my old sister and I were sent to a Christian boarding school in the middle of nowhere called French Camp, Mississippi. We were there for almost 7 years. That is actually, close your ears, where I met my first husband. I was in 8th grade or 7th grade when I met him, and I left French camp the end of my sophomore year in high school, and had decided to come home because my little sister was self-harming at school because she wanted to be home. She didn't want to go to boarding school. She didn't want to have to be segregated from, like, we had a guy side of campus and a girl side of campus. Like, if you were caught holding hands with someone of the opposite sex, you'd wear like a red shirt, like the Scarlet Letter.
Yeah.
So she was just tired of the rules, regulations. I mean, God was crammed down your throat to the point where it'd be like considered normal if you were like, forget this God thing because it's just too much. Like, we woke up, we did devotional, we went to school, we had to take a Bible class. In the middle of the day, we were doing Bible class. When we went home, we were doing Bible class. Not saying anything's wrong with that, but it tends to be a lot for a lot of kids that have experienced trauma, which most of the people at French camp experienced trauma or were bad kids at some point in time. So we decided, and we would only go home, I think it was like every one weekend, every 90 days or something like that. and then major holidays if your family was willing to let you come home.
Mm.
So every time we'd go home, we didn't really have a house to go home to. We were staying either with a family member, sleeping on a couch, sleeping on the floor, whatever girlfriend my dad was in a relationship with that week. I think we lived in, what's the long-term hotel over there off Shelby Drive? You can stay there for like, well, I'm not saying you're at that one, but what's the name of it? You can stay there for like weeks on end.
I have no idea.
Anyways, we were living in a hotel for like weeks on end because that was the easiest way for my dad to get dope or whatever. He could get his dope and hose, either or. And
I thought it was both and those.
this guy. But just from coming home on the weekends that we did, watching my dad chase the high, going to visit my mom and her parading us around to all of her girlfriends or whatever she had going on in jail, to being 13 years old and trying to find a job while I'm at French camp so I can start sending my dad money to make sure we had a place to come home to or a place to live, to only find out he, turned that money into his next high. I think whenever we finally came home my sophomore year, I decided that I was going to put myself through homeschooling and finish all of my schooling in a year and 3 months. And I decided that I was going to get me and my older sister out of the situation, because the first time we came home, my sister walked in and found my dad passed out with a needle in his arm. And so the guy that I was dating at that French camp, he and I reconnected and decided that when I turned 17, we were going to get married, and he was going to join the Marine Corps. And that's what we did. Is he joined the Marine Corps. I ran away with him and had planned to rescue my sister, but she was too worried about saving my dad. So I think he and I were married for about 8 years, and it was nothing but abuse, him using PTSD as an excuse to beat the living crap out of me. We had my first in 2014, and he put a gun up to my head and told me if I were to ever leave him, he'd kill me. Because I was ready to leave because of abuse. My dad and I had pretty much fist fought my whole entire life, because he'd get high. We'd fight because I didn't want him to get high anymore, because my sister and I needed him. So we'd fist fight about it. Then I go and marry into, he wasn't doing drugs, but he was drinking. That was his problem. And then we had a second baby in 2017 to fix our problems. And the abuse only got worse to where my, at the time, 2-year-old is going to school, to daycare, telling his daycare teachers on Camp Lejeune Base, my daddy's mean to my mommy, and he hits her. And shortly after that, I couldn't do it anymore. It was time to leave. So we moved back to Mississippi thinking that, we could move closer to family and it was going to be better. It only got worse. So we decided that, it was best to part ways. We weren't going to make it anymore. And I'd found out he was messing with some girl at Camp Lejeune the whole time anyways. So we got back, and that's when I started talking to this guy. And he was my next fixer-upper project.
Boy, you had work cut out for her,
So
didn't you?
it's real weird, because I put myself through college and became a paralegal, and then shortly after I went to school and got a degree in construction engineering. So now I have a legal construction problem I have to fix. And so we get together and everything just goes downhill. I'm fine, everything fine, and the dumpster fires back there, that was my life for the last 2.5 years before this 3 year. It's a vicious cycle of like trauma. We'll fix it. Trauma.
Yep, there's trauma.
Yeah, there's trauma. It's like I was always told my whole entire life, you're not going to be anything. You're going to be just like your, you're going to be just like your mom. And to an extent, like my goal was always to not be like my, to not be like my mom, to not be like my dad, to live a different life than what they did. I don't want my kids to ever go through, and here comes the tears, ever go through the same crap that I went through. I don't want them to see me doing drugs or sleeping with men to get by. I don't want my kids to ever walk in the door and see, me passed out with needles in my arm and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
my goal was to never, ever, ever do drugs, no matter what it costs. And I'm too much of a control freak, so I can't do anything where I limit control. But I always got like I have friends that did drugs, and I would make them my project. My boyfriend, future husband, would do drugs, and he became my project. So it was always, can you stop? God. So I was always looking for another.
So look, let me stop you right there for just a second. If you spend any time with Cody and Kasey in person, she says that every 3 minutes. God, would you stop? God.
I'm keeping the dog. I'm keeping the dog.
Like squirrels have gone everywhere. They're all. Have you seen like the meme where it says my ducks are, what's it? My ducks are in a row. Trying to keep my ducks in a row, and one's in the police car. Here we go.
Yeah. Praise God, we ain't gotta live like that no more.
Literally.
Right.
I got police friends now. I paid for a cop's meal the other day, and never in my million years would ever thought Cody Ables would pay for a cop's meal. Just
right.
Full circle. It's truly a blessing, man, to be given a second chance at life, and to just to really, I'm 33 years old now, and I only started living life at like 29, 30 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like you figure this is how it's supposed to be my whole life, because this is who God intended me to be. But that whole time, the devil had me in a chokehold. We finally whooped it, man.
Well, I think the coolest thing too about, let me toot our horn for a little bit, is we worked really, really hard to establish proper patterns, because we were so used to not being, well, for my sake, not being like my parents, but for him being everything that he could have been, or being everything that he should have not been, as a father, as a husband, as a boyfriend, as a son, so on and so forth, that we got so focused on those situational things that we never really focused on what steps do we really need to take to really break generational curses. And it's not so much of pointing out everybody else's flaws. It's just finding the flaws in ourselves that we can mend, repair, and work towards the next step. Because, we're not going to be different overnight. We're not going to be perfect parents overnight. We're not going to be perfect husband and wife overnight. I'm not going to be a perfect friend overnight. It's what thing can I do right now that will help the next step for me to be that much better the next day. And I think the hardest thing that we've had to overcome is not just our own personal past, but it's the past of our parents. Well, not his mom. His mom is just an angel walking on earth, but just the past things that our parents have done our goal is to be just much better people without focusing on what they did or what they didn't do.
Mm-hmm. You want to talk about a full circle moment real quick? This dude right here, Andrew James, my first unit I was on, we were on a unit together, and we slept literally, like my head was literally a foot from his head, because it was 2 rows of bunk beds, and so it was head to head, and like my head was literally a foot from his head, and we'd talk and eat and hang out, and it was an awesome thing to have a brother in Christ there with me while I was locked up, and we've stayed connected a little bit over the past few years on social media. So what's up, Drew?
I think that's cool that he said that, because in my boys' room, I always had a poem, the Children Live What They Learn poem. So if you speak word of truth over them, they're going to be honest.
Yes.
And I think that's my main focus, now, since he's got his crap together, and I really got someone that can help me raise men. Because, I mean, like he said, there's a lot of things that a mother can't teach a son. And we've got 3 boys, and I want to
Yeah.
have men. I want men of service, men that, like,
Yeah.
will carry on what we're doing. Like, we fight
Yeah.
monsters, and the Raven is here, doesn't stop with us.
Mm-mm.
Thank God for
No.
Connor, because he's walking proof of that.
Right. Yeah, that boy's going to be the next face of the Raven is here for sure. I just
Yeah,
pray that he keeps it, he keeps that enthusiasm.
yeah, that's like
And
I'm
I
waiting
think he
on
will.
all 100 of Ben's kids to take over We Fight Monsters. Ava's gonna call all the shots.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
She's gonna be like Queen Chaos Coordinator.
Yeah, no doubt. So all she's got to do is give you that side eye, and
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna act right.
And do her little fist.
Do her little fist. Yes. No, it can't stop with us, man. It really can't. Otherwise, what's the point?
Right.
Like there's got to be somebody to carry on the torch.
We're not blueprints for just other like states. We're blueprints for our children.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. That's actually on a shirt, Ben. I don't know if you know that or not, or noticed it last time we were there. That's actually on a shirt in the store. I'm with Connor. Anyway, so what next? Like, what's we've kind of got the stories merged. Like, what do y'all see? That look, boy, that look. What was that look, Casey? My gosh,
He
Cody
hadn't
missed
pissed
it.
me
He was
off
looking
yet. Just
down.
wait.
Oh, you just wait till it's ends, and I'll probably get hit with 3 different things.
Y'all, I do not abuse him
She
anymore.
can't abuse me.
He likes it too much.
She can't abuse me. It doesn't work. It's counterproductive. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
It does the complete opposite.
Now, Mike Tyson done got old. So what's now? Well, I mean, there's a lot. What's now, babe?
What's now? What do you mean?
Well, we're both in current active custody cases for. We would love full custody of all of our kids again. It's well deserving.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get through those hurdles, but also just really trying to grow in service and be able to serve more and continue to not just grow in our faith, but grow in our mission. Our mission is to really stop, like, to show people that there's life outside of addiction, outside of trauma. I mean, come on now.
I've talked for 56 minutes. You've talked for 2. Oh man, I guess our thing is just keep in mind, y'all. This is the first time we've told our story together. Like,
Yeah.
we've never done this before, and I think a lot of the hell that we went through, same people experience as a couple, and so many struggling couples that are trying to make it. Here's your cue that it can happen, but it's gonna
hard
take
as hell.
it's gonna take dedication. It's gonna take true love. It's gonna take that willpower that you have to make it work. I'm not saying this was easy. This wasn't handed to either one of us. The amount of patience that we have with each other is actually very good. Despite how much that we play, we used to even recent, like when I got out of prison, we would still fight and argue like cats and dogs. You know what I'm saying? But we really don't fight or argue now. I mean, we'll get one every 3 months because it's gotta happen. You know what I'm saying? It's gotta happen.
Well, and I have to remind myself that even though, like, he put me through all this crap and we're still going through a lot of the crap, like, we're still trying to mend a lot of brokenness, is that I chose, by letting him come back in this house, to forgive him. And I married him in the name of Jesus. We are one. I have chose to forgive him. So the mornings that I wake up pissed off, mad because what he did a year and a half ago, I have to remind myself this morning, you forgave him. Like, we have to wake up and start this day with a forgiving heart, because if we don't, if we live in resentment and anger, and if we're pissed off and upset, we're not going to get anywhere. We're going to backtrack
Yeah.
a year and a half and be just as miserable that we are a year and a half ago.
And on
Yeah.
those days, all I can do is be a reassurance. You know what I'm saying? Tell her, man, I hate that guy too, man. If we can go back in the day, we both stomp him right now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
all I can do is promise you that I'm looking forward and I'm never going backwards. You know what I'm saying? God
Yeah.
willing, I'm never going backwards. Like, I don't believe I will. I'm not gonna say it can't happen because that's when something will slap me in the face. But I'm telling you now that I've never been where I'm at in my head right now. I've never been strong. I've never had self worth. I've always battled with self worth because from 15 to 28, I was a piece of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how could that person be
Yeah.
anything worthy of anything? Was my biggest battle. Like, that was my biggest battle. Like, it still messes with me to this day. There's certain things I try to do that I can't do because of my past, and it's just like.
Mm-hmm.
But at that same time, I'm reminded that we are a new creature, and that old person dies when you accept Jesus Christ
Yeah.
in your heart. That you are a new
Yeah.
creature, you're a new being. All old is dead. You know what I'm saying? So I have to remind myself
Preach,
that.
Pastor.
I have to remind myself. I ain't there yet. I have to remind myself daily, daily that I am worthy. I am a
Yeah.
child of
Come on.
God. My sins have been forgiven because there's a lot of things that can truly mess up your mental in a sense, spiritually, physically, emotionally, can send you into a downward spiral. So, and I had to have a sit down with my pastor at the time of my church, and he told me, he was like, Cody, I want you to get up. I want you to open that door and sit back on the couch. So I got up, I opened the door and sit down on the couch, and he was like, all right, so now you tell me who could come through that door right now. True, anybody that wanted to. He said, I want you to get up. I want you to lock the door, and I want you to put pressure on it. Who could get in that door without a fight right now? Not too many. He said, that's what you got to do in your head. As soon as the devil jumps in your head, that's exactly what you do. You slam the door, rebuke him in the name of Jesus, and you sit your butt down, and you thank God that you're not like that anymore. You thank
Mm-hmm.
God that you don't have to go through those problems anymore, that you don't wake up itching for something anymore, if you even wake up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I should have been
Yeah.
dead. I got that all kind of like, it's a true miracle of God that I'm sitting here talking with you guys right now,
Yeah.
that I'm able to push this story because there's many nights that I thought I was gonna die.
I did get a call mm, 4 years ago from a number I don't know. And they were like, you need to come get him now. And I was like, get who? And they're like, get Cody. Like, he's here lifeless. I'm like, well, where's here? They're like, we can't tell you. Just find him. I'm like, what? And they're like, he's here. He's overdosed. We have to leave. Come find
Mm.
him. And
Mm.
I had just decided that time that I wasn't going to have any other connection with him, before I got that phone call. And then I get this phone call out of the blue, and I'm like, there goes my heart tearing all over again, right when I think I'm strong enough to move on with my life and like distance myself from him. Here he goes. He's dying. I got to go save him.
Mm-hmm.
Don't say it.
Yeah, man. I think as long as we continue on this path that we're on and truly, truly serve with all of our heart, and truly remind ourselves daily, you know what I'm saying? The sky is the limit. I couldn't tell you where we're gonna be at in 5 years, but I promise it's not gonna be
Right.
sitting right now. You know what I'm
Right.
Mm-mm.
saying? I try not to think too far ahead because then my movie real stress, all kind of crap goes on, and it's not a PG-13 movie. It's like a rated R movie in my head. So I try to. I'm just saying, because like I'm a worst case scenario guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you have people
Self
that
sabotage.
think and then think of good things, and then I think of good things majority of the time, but then here come them little missiles.
I'm the same. I'm the same way.
So I try not to think ahead too
Yeah.
much.
And I don't like know too much. So when someone tells me no, then like everything just spirals down from there.
I tell her no about 10 times a day.
No, he doesn't. He's lying.
Told her no about that dog too.
No, the dog was there before him. I told him one day, I was like, if you'll leave before
No,
the
I meant the other
bus.
Oh,
dog. The one.
Oh,
The one you just
oh,
posted.
see,
Mittens.
stop. Don't do that. Leave Mittens out of this.
Oh,
Mittens is
mittens.
not involved.
The mittens better have them paws. I tell you that, because we got two killers in here. I got to keep my two dogs separated right now. They're freaking crazy.
Yep. Serve. Y'all
Amen.
just put that on a shirt, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Just did this week or last week.
Yeah, I love that
It's last
shirt.
week now.
It's
Yeah, I
right
do
after
too.
we put a big order
I
in.
think they
She
said-
makes all these cool shirts. I'm like,
I think they said they got a new Matt Wallace shirt in the making. I think it was him eating. A
Oh
hot
yeah.
stop it.
Dog. I think it was him eating a hot dog.
Leave him out of this. God.
Just make it happen.
Yeah. Leave Matt out of this. Matt, I got you. Don't worry. Bobby, get your bag.
Right. Well, y'all, thank y'all so much for coming and hanging out, man. I love having couples on. I got one on next week. David and April Abbott are going to be on next week.
Oh, I love
really?
him. David,
Yeah, I do too.
he helped Cody Saturday do some trim work at Melrose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that.
It's been a minute since I had somebody come on the job with me and actually cut and I install. It's been a minute, man. It's been a minute.
I was getting sick of being bossed around, so I had to call in for help. I couldn't take it
I
anymore.
got to boss her around, y'all.
It's rare.
And I'm still alive.
You're counting your days, buddy. Hey,
All I
I've
heard
got
in
a
my
life
head-
insurance policy,
I
so
didn't even know about that thing. We got a letter in the mail talking about some life insurance. Mr. Ables. What? I'm looking at her the whole time like, man, I done did all that before. You know what I'm saying? It's clicking in my head now. It's clicking in my head.
Brad, I'm gonna do one that beans don't go in chili. I will never do a beans go in chili shirt.
Oh my God.
the next second chance.
Brad,
speaker
I
shirt.
forgot to message you. We were supposed to leave that out of here. I told him in the breakout room that we were not going to discuss chili. This is ending
Well,
the stigma.
listen.
This isn't ending the chili, okay?
Ending the stigma. It is. It's ending the stigma over beans and chili.
He just almost spit his Coke out. And I'm gonna tell y'all, like I told 50 different people in the comments, if you do, and this goes for you too, Brad, tell me to bring some chili to Fort Worth with beans. If you bring chili with beans into a Texas chili competition, they will disqualify your ass and send you home.
Brad, you know how he ate his chili? On Fritos.
You dang right I did.
Nachos, they ain't chili. I had to, man.
Good God.
I love you, Chris. I love you.
Yeah, I
Watch,
love you too,
the
brother.
viewers just went up like 100
I
plus
know
just
it.
because of
I know
beans
it.
and chili.
Comments are freaking rolling in right now like
I know.
crazy.
Everyone
beans.
in Texas is like, what the hell's wrong with y'all?
I
I'm
know
waiting
what
on
everybody
somebody to make a
admit.
cinnamon roll comment.
Bronson said chili.
What's up with the cinnamon rolls?
You,
Beans don't go in a cinnamon roll.
No, I think it's in up north. They have to have a cinnamon roll with their chili. Like they dip it in their chili. Exactly. Y'all
Stop it.
You're gonna be canceled. We gotta shut up.
Oh my
I have to
gosh.
find it and send it to you.
Oh,
But like they
yeah.
all
Yankees.
every time they make chili, there goes a cinnamon roll.
Jennifer says she
Aw.
loves y'all.
Love you, Jennifer. She said, babe, how cute. Look at that. Look at his face.
Look at God.
Won't he do it? See, this is what you get for
No.
down here. Only if you're putting it in Raymond.
Hey, man, we out of prison now, bro. We out of prison now.
Hey, that's,
Look, man, do you know how often I still make a spread? Pretty freaking often.
The next live should be people making spreads.
I did one time where I made a
Did you
spread.
really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
I
God.
brought a buddy of mine on. Yeah, Cincinnati chili is nasty. Straight
I
up
believe
nasty.
it.
It's so bad. So listen, I have a friend that lives outside of Cincinnati, and so I ordered some Cincinnati chili mix and followed the directions on it. They don't even brown the hamburger meat. They throw the hamburger meat in the water and boil it.
Ew.
Man, that's 201 shit.
That's some bad. Yeah, man, that's bad. Ugh.
So
listen, the last time I think Cody had to actually eat a plate from 201 is we were on a video chat and he is holding up. It's
okay, hold on. Anybody from Memphis that's been to 201 knows about that turkey tray. All right, go ahead.
So it's like turkey with gravy on it. And he held it up. The gravy was lime green and the turkey was iridescent. I'm like, oh no, I'm ordering you a hot plate today. You ain't dying this way. If anybody's gonna kill you, it's gonna be me. Not 201 turkey plate.
Yeah, our hot dogs and our hot dogs would be green sometimes. It was crazy.
Yep. Boiled burgers.
Boiled, yeah, man. Ugh.
Yeah, the first time we served at 201, we brought them. What food did we bring?
We cooked the burgers.
Matt said green gravy.
It was disgusting. Ugh, he said, "Hell yeah!" You
Reminds
dirty
me of your
dog.
Come on,
ex,
Matt.
dog.
Come on, Matt. Ugh.
God, it just canceled.
It's green sponge for real, man. Ugh.
My beard
Water
was-
sausage.
Damn, Chris.
It doesn't even sound right.
Water sausage.
I ain't
That's it. That's the caption for that shirt.
gonna...
Ugh.
All right, go lay down.
I know Drew remembers that. I know he remembers the green hot dogs.
Ew.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Man, I had a pork steak one time that when I picked it up still had hair and skin on the fat trim, on the
Oh,
trim
no.
fat.
Mm.
Yeah.
See, there's a lot of things I would no longer eat after that.
I did not eat. Yeah. I looked at him real close after that.
I'm already iffy on pork, and that would just do it to me.
Yeah. Well, cool, y'all. I think a minute or an hour 12. That's exactly how long Jennifer's was.
Woo.
Hey, we're not competing.
You did good.
No. Yeah,
good.
you did so
Hey,
good. I
y'all
couldn't
give
tell
Casey
you
a
were
round of
nervous at all.
applause, man. Y'all,
Yeah.
y'all blow the
Worse.
chat up right now and tell her how good she did. She was
Yeah,
so
blow it
stressed
up.
out. She was so stressed out. She did a wonderful job.
Y'all, my legs been going 90 to nothing over here.
Y'all throw some clapping hand emojis in the
Don't do
chat.
that. Don't do that. Don't do
it.
that.
You did good. Like once you started talking, like you did so good.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Yeah, we was blessed to be able
Nailed
to
it.
do this together.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I think I can stand you a little bit more. I think so.
You should be worried if I can stand you.
You're sitting down right now, so I'm good.
Yo, this is my life 24/7.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. If you're around them for any amount of time in person, like that is the conversation. You get on my nerves.
Like the moment
stop
Ben's
it.
like, "Hey, you want to go like to the hoe tracks?" I'm like, "Good, I'm gone." Cody can stay at home. I can go do something that doesn't involve him. South Memphis, let's go.
Yes.
Until I make him ride in the Explorer. I don't think he'll ever do that again. I scared the shit out of him.
All right, y'all. Let's see. David and April Abbott are on next week. And I didn't even know it till I did the interview with Brad. I didn't know Leah was in recovery too, or I'd have had her on at the same time. Which I might try to get her on if she's up for it. I don't know. She still hadn't accepted my friend request from like 2 months ago. So
it's okay.
You know,
She is on here right now, and she's.
I know she is. That's exactly why I said it, because I double checked when I saw her to see if she had accepted it yet.
He's throwing shots.
I was straight up throwing shots.
Everybody needs to
Slinging
at
rocks.
Leah in the comments.
Yeah, I know, right? All right, y'all. Thanks again for being here. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say, so I'm just gonna say goodnight. Y'all hang out for just a minute. Y'all hang out for just a minute.
All right.